guys, thank you for joining me. Rob is here. I am back. I'm back on my feet after a couple of weeks of lots of stuff going on, and I just wanted to really bring everyone up to speed of what's been happening over the last 2 weeks and why I haven't been online as much as normal. And as ever, before I begin, please like, subscribe and share. Please, it really helps me to grow the channel and to get it out there to new people and so on and so forth. So I'd appreciate if you could do that. So what's been going on? Okay, well, I was poorly. I was at RealWorld. I was supposed to be doing a drum clinic, blah, blah, blah. So let's start at the beginning. So I was invited to come down and play at RealWorld 2 weeks ago at something they call the Producer Camp, where they have attendees sign up and come along and spend from the Friday to the Sunday in either groups of 2 or 3, sometimes 4, depending on how many attendees sign up. And they work in a group to produce a song by the end of the weekend, using the musicians, myself on drums, and I'll go through who else was there, and I'll try to remember who else was there, and produce a final track. As I say, using the studio, using the producers that are on hand to help them, using all of the musicians that are on hand to help them. And by the end of it, do this presentation where they have this completed track in one of the finest studios in the world. Now, RealWorld Studios is always in the top 10 of the best residential studios in the world, always, usually in the top 5. And everyone from like Beyonce through to Robert Plant through to whoever is recorded there. It's crazy who's been through those doors. And of course, I've worked there many times and even worked there with Peter back in the day. Excuse me. And I was asked to perform for the weekend. To play at the weekend because their usual drummer couldn't make it. So Tim contacted me back in the summer and I was more than happy to do it because lots of friends of mine are also involved on the producing side, but also on the musician side as well. So we had David Rhodes, who I've recorded and toured with, an amazing guitar player. And he's lovely to see him, he's a good friend as well. So it was nice to see him. So he was on sort of guitar duties. And we had Jim Barr, who does Portishead, and he's got his own studio in Bristol. He was there on bass to do bass duties and stuff. We had John Baggett, who's worked again with Portishead and Robert Plant and God knows how many other people, Massive Attack. He was there to supply all the piano and sort of Moog stuff as well, all the synthesizer stuff. So that was cool. And we had Aid Chivers was there, which is brilliant. Steve Evans was there. Chris Hughes was there. They're all there on the producing side. Totally fabulous. There are more people, but I could list loads of different names, but we'd be going on and on and on. And to work with my mates, some of them are my chums, and some of them I'd met for the first time on the camp. Some of the other people that were there, fantastic. And all the attendees were brilliant. If any of you are watching, amazing job. You did great stuff. I love working with all of you. It was so much fun. So, I ended up playing on the tracks and I could advise them about the rhythm, the feel, the time signature, the tempo, whether it be a modern sounding kit or a vintage kit or a programmed drum part. So that was kind of my role. And literally I'm sat in the wood room and we had Zav, the engineer, who's a great guy. He was there, and of course Katie was there and everyone else, but I can't get lost in all the names because we'll be here all day. And we were in the wood room, so literally get an hour with each group and they come through and I was getting all sorts of great stuff. Some guys were coming in saying it's kind of a hip hop thing. Come and check this out. Paul, your thing was amazing, mate. I really enjoyed that. Playing some hip hoppy type grooves, and some would say just record load of stuff to the click or to the backing track. Don't worry about the stops. Just play through it and we'll edit it later. So that was great. So I could do that sort of thing. Some were like, this is very much an arrangement. So I'd quickly listen to it, jot down the arrangement, and then play it. And we had a Slingerland vintage kit that I could use if I wanted, plus my DW kit, which was just sounding great. A whole host of other snare drums, some from RealWorld, some were mine, vintage ones. But most of the time it was my, that Hitmaker snare drum, the 14x8 DW, which just does everything. And Chris Hughes loves it, Steve Evans loves it. And they, of course, they have some of the producers producing some of this stuff with the students. And they were like, it's got to be that snare drum. Because we have talked about it before. It tunes up, it tunes down, it goes mid-range. It does everything you need it to do. It's just friggin' unbelievable. It's a great drum. And a 22-inch bass drum, 10, 12, 14. 2 rack toms, 1 floor. That seemed to do everything we needed. And again, the DW collector's kit is great. It can tune up, tune down. I could There's some pictures, you might even be looking at one right now, where I put tea towels on there, full on Ringo vibes. And that sounded good on some of the tracks. Yeah, and then some of the people would come through and say this is a ballad, or this is kind of a Creedence Clearwater sort of vibe, you know, like a Laurel Canyon sort of vibe. So instantly, you know, me and Zav would make a choice of which drum kit. Most of the time it was mine, actually. It was the Slingerland was used occasionally, but it was a Radio King, probably from the 40s or early 50s. It was amazing. Beautiful black diamond finish, I think it was. Just gorgeous. And of course, a whole host of Vulcan cymbals. And I managed to use, again, I've used it a few times, and I call them hi-hats. People, I think, you know, I think Peter questioned on there, are they really hi-hats, on my Instagram. And Pete, they are crash cymbals. You are indeed right. They're not really hi-hats, but, you know, you put them two 18-inch crashes together on a hi-hat stand, they suddenly become my hi-hats. So, yeah, those hi-hats were actually just crashes, but they sounded great. You know, and Steve Jordan's always talking about bigger hi-hats sitting in the mix better, because they're not going at the high end, they're more and they sit nicely in the register. When you're listening to, you know, rhythm tracks, they just sit in the mix better. So I use those. And, you know, my new Rock Ride as well, I use as a crash, which was wicked. Anyway, you'll see the pictures, and if you're on my Instagram, Facebook, you've seen them already. So that was brilliant. So I did that for the weekend, and it was great to see all my mates and play with them and catch up with them and meet some of the attendees, well, all of the attendees who were lovely, and a lot of them are still emailing me now. So great to meet you guys. But unfortunately, at the end of that weekend, I got very poorly. Ended up getting a taxi Uber back home, and basically staying in bed for the next 3 days, which meant that we finished on the Sunday, and looking at my calendar on the Monday, which would have been the 17th, I was due, because you guys would have seen it here on my channel, to do a drum clinic down at Echo Town Studios with the amazing Clive Deemer. And Clive in the end had to do it on his own, because I was just, by the time I got in, I won't go through the what happened, but I was very poorly. Sickness and diarrhea bug that kind of ripped through me. That's all that needs to be said. And shivering and cold in bed, and then hot the next minute, and you know, the whole fever thing. So I was very poorly. So I was out the mix. So unfortunately, I missed that. But I am talking to Grace and Nick at Echo Town Studios and trying to arrange one just before Christmas so I can come down and do my bit, because I really want to come back, because there was an interview planned as well as playing for you guys. So if some of you guys are interested, we were looking at some Mondays and Tuesdays in the next few weeks before Christmas. There's not many, but I'm hoping I'll chase Grace up today. Hopefully we can get something going with that, and I can return just before Christmas to see you all, because that would be great fun. But Clive did an excellent job, and while he was there, he filmed the crowd saying, "Get well soon, Rob," and he sent it to me, and I got that on the Tuesday morning, and I was still in bed all day Tuesday, apart from dashes to the toilet occasionally. Anyway, let's not go into that. And it really cheered me up. Everyone going, "Get well soon, Rob." It was really sweet. So I missed that, unfortunately, but Clive did a sterling job, obviously, and nailed it and did a great job. But as I say, we're going to try and negotiate that date. And I forgot, actually, there was the Thursday before that. So the Friday to the Sunday was the RealWorld. On the Thursday, I played with my quartet at the Bebop Club in Bristol, which went really, really, really well. It was well attended. The band played great. We tried some new ideas as well. And it's good to know that a few more people have come to see it, to check out what's going on. Because I've said before, drummer-led bands, people get a little bit like, oh, what's it going to be like? All drum solos or whatever. Everything really fast, everything loud. And you know, as I say before, we go everywhere from Dixieland to hip hop, to Latin, to funk, to swing, bebop, you know, you name it. It's all kind of drum and bass, it's all in there. We like to go through all the rhythmic variations as much as we can within 2 sets of music, you know, what with solos and everything else. One tune can last 5-6 minutes, can't it? So anyway, but we try and take you on a journey. So that was good. So I'm trying to get some more gigs in Wales and around the area, you know, further up in the Cotswolds. So if you've got a jazz club you think you'd like us to play there, or you know someone that I should hit up, then please contact me on my email, or leave a message in the comments below, or whatever. And hit me up and I'll bring the quartet, as long as we can afford to do it, over to your club or theatre or art centre, whatever. But we're looking at doing more with that anyway. So thanks all of you for coming. Gavin came all the way over from Wales, so thanks Gav. And Mark Stokes was there again, and we had Jerry there as well. So, you know, lots of people came along, you know, regular offenders, if you like, of the Rob Bryan Quartet. So I appreciate all of you coming, and plenty of new faces as well who come up after the show and said they enjoyed it. And thanks to Andy Haig as well for putting it on. You're a legend, my man. He's been putting jazz on, and indeed playing jazz and Latin and funk and rock himself for many years. So he's a legend in on the Bristol jazz scene. So thank you to him, and hopefully we'll get a rebook for next year. Good. So we're almost up to date. I think we are up to date. Yeah, that takes us up to the last few days. We're back in the studio with Little Men, working on the last album we did at RealWorld. We're looking at mixing that. It's a slow process because people are busy, and some of the people the engineers that help us to mix are away on tour with other people, and it's that musician thing, you know, we're not always in the same room at the same time. And we don't really want to ferry the tracks out for people to do at home or while they're on the road and then come back in, because it's a process where me, Left Hand, and Nick want to be in the room at the same time with the engineer as we're mixing, and I'm producing the tracks in real time, hearing it through the speakers, not, you know, through MP3s, listening through headphones when people email backwards and forwards. So it's a very hands-on thing, that. So that's going to take its time, but we've got a Christmas single that's just come out, Jingle Bells and Holly, which is on YouTube. You should check out, you know, trying to get into that spirit of the good 70s and 80s Christmas songs the best we can, because we're all from that era, bless us. So that's going to be going on as well. And there are going to be some more gigs coming up in the new year for the quartet. I've already booked a few, which I'm just hanging on the dates for a while to do a separate video for things like that. But yeah, I just want to say thank you for all the get well wishes. There were quite a few, and I appreciate that a lot. It meant quite a lot, and I haven't been that ill for ages. You know, it's like a proper, like when you were ill at school or something, you get that sort of virus and it knocks you out. It's proper sick. You know, touch wood, I don't get that too often. And I've had a really good run for probably most of this year, you know, mixing late nights and early in the morning with Little Men, you know, 3 a.m. sessions, 4 a.m. sessions, you know, and stuff like that, you know, for the last album earlier this year. Just crazy times, and always working, eventually it catches up with your body gets a bug and you go down. So I guess advice to myself would be take it easy, and plenty of other people are telling me I should probably slow down a bit. But you know, when you're a musician and you're self-employed, it's what you do, right? You keep working. On another note, there will be some more interesting shorts coming your way. I haven't done any because I've been poorly, but there will be some more shorts coming. Oh, that's Nick. I'll bring him back in a minute. There will be some more shorts coming. I really enjoy doing them with the sort of slight arty stuff that I try and do with it as well. And they're off the cuff. They're very quick. I like to get them out as mood kind of pieces. And I'm getting together with Carolina, who you know is working on my solo project with me. And we're actually working in the studio, getting some of these shorts with vocals on. I was thinking, why am I using vocal samples when I'm already working with a great vocalist? Why don't I just get Carolina in to sing some stuff? So we've been in the studio working on some of that. And of course, some of the shorts that we're working on, we're going to expand into proper songs. And looking into next year, we're going to be gigging with that as well, but more about that at a later date. But I'm back on my feet. I'm going to work on some of the shorts that we've worked on and get them edited, because obviously I've got vocal takes to look at and, you know, things to sort out, and a slight mix of those, and get some romance on the vocals, all those sort of things, you know, make it sound sweet. And she did a great job. We've done, you know, 4 sessions at the studio working on this stuff, and it's sounding really, really good. And I'm really excited for the gigs next year, because we're also going to be bringing in Left Hand on keyboards. Now, I wasn't going to say about anything, but now I'm going into it. But there will be more of that stuff happening next year. But anyway, so watch out for some more shorts, that they will be coming. And I'll be back on, hopefully a bit more regular now. I'm back on my feet. As I say, this was just a little catch up, so you can find out what's been going on. And I can say thank you to you guys for all the get well wishes and so on. And there's other stuff going on, but I'll share that for another video because this is almost 15 minutes now. Well, it is right now, bang on. So thanks for watching. I hope you're all well. Take care. Look after your health. It's really important. If your body's telling you to stop for a bit, maybe you should listen. So yeah, thank you. This is the start of a little run of videos back in the game. All right, guys. As ever, please like, share, subscribe, like I said. And once again, thanks for all your get well wishes. Much appreciated. And I'll see you soon.